Hey guys, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my March wrap-up. We're going to be talking about all the books I read in March. So just to give you guys a few stats before we start and go into the books and what I felt about them, I'm just going to tell you guys the basics. So I read a total of 7 books this month, which is the same amount I read last month. I read 2,942 pages. Also, how I calculate my pages is I literally just go to Google and search page count for this book, and then it tells me the page count. So I don't like count the amount of pages I read. I just search it on Google, so I don't know if that's cheating, but that's how I calculate it. And then my average rating for the books, which is the rating I gave it, combined all the ratings this month, and the average, it was 3.714, so like 3.7. So not bad, but not amazing books either. So let's get into talking about the actual books. So I read actually mostly romance. Also, if I'm gonna be looking over here a lot because I have like all my thoughts and stuff and the books all on my computer that's off to the side. So I'm gonna be looking here a bit, but I did read a lot of romance this month. I actually started off this month reading a thriller, I'm pretty sure it was. It was on my TBR. I got it from the board game. It told me to read the book, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to read it. And this was The Inmate. Why did I have an accent when I said that? The Inmate by Freida McFadden. She's a very popular author, and I gave this book 3 stars. Obviously, to me, that means just like it was a pretty mid book. There was nothing terrible about the book, but it wasn't amazing either. It was just like right in the middle. Kept me entertained some parts, wasn't really entertaining in some parts. So when I was reading this book, something that really got me mad was the female main character. She was just very dumb. And I thought, I was like, maybe I'm being mean, like maybe I'm the only person that thinks this, because there was just lines that would happen in the book that it was so obvious, and it not only makes the main character look dumb, but it also ruins what's about to happen, because it's like, it basically just showed you. Like, it'll question something, and then it's like, oh, it's obvious that. Like, what the answer is to that question, if that makes any sense. Like, when you read a thriller, you know what's coming, and it just made it so obvious. So then it also made the main character look dumb. And then I decided to read reviews, because I was like, I want to know what people thought about this book. Like, I know she's a popular author, so I wanted to see if like people liked the book. And honestly, people had a lot of the same like thoughts as me. People thought the main character was dumb, the female main character, and I was like, thank goodness, because I thought it was just being mean, and no, it was just like she was very slow. I feel like the best part about the book was the epilogue. It was crazy, and the end of the book is like when it got good, like when you find out who did what and all of that. Basically, the epilogue was probably the best part of the book and the most interesting part, so it's kind of sad to say, but yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I didn't really explain what the book is about, but basically it's about a girl that she has a son, I'm pretty sure, and the father is in jail for attempted murder on the mother, and doesn't know for sure if he did it, but like she knows, like she like knows he did it for sure, but like she didn't see his face, but she knows. And so basically she's like a nurse in the hospital now, like she needed a job, not the hospital, the jail, so she like has to see him when he comes and needs help from a nurse, whatever. You follow them talking and him saying like, it wasn't me, and so she's like, yes it was. So then you're like trying to figure out like, was it him or was it someone else? Then there's a character that comes in, and I feel like it was just so obvious the whole time what was gonna happen, except like the mini plot twist at the end. But yeah, to me it was just a pretty like mid book, I would say. Next book I read was another book on my TBR, which was Cruel King. This book I gave 2.5 stars. I just felt like it was kind of weird. I don't know if it's considered a dark romance. I don't think so. But it was just really Wattpad-y, kind of cringy, kind of weird, kind of disturbing. It was just so, I feel like it was very Wattpad. Like, he was like possessive over her, like, don't touch her, like, if I see you look at another guy, like, we're done. I don't know, it was just kind of like corny. Like, who are you, really? And by the title, like, Cruel King, I thought they were like gonna be like a prince and like a king, like in this kingdom. No, they're just normal kids in like London, I'm pretty sure. I don't know where the story takes place. Oh, he plays like football, but like when I read it, I thought it was American football until they started talking about like the concept of soccer. So then I was like, oh, these people probably are like in Europe or something. I don't know. Pretty sure it's somewhere in Europe, but He plays like soccer. He's like the captain of the soccer team. His last name is King, so everyone calls him King. And she's like a shy girl, and they have like, it's like found family, I'm pretty sure. Their families like want them to stay away from each other. There's that aspect. I most likely will not be continuing the series. It's just not entertaining to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was entertaining at times because it was just like random things happening, but it wasn't a good enough book for me to continue it. And yeah, I don't really know, it was just a Wattpad book. That's what it felt like. So yeah, there was that book. Then the next book I read was another one on my TBR. I did really good with reading books that I picked off my TBR last month. So the next book I read, I actually have the physical copy of, and that is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. The TBR prompt I got for this was a book that's been on my shelf for longer than a year, and this had been on my shelf for a long time already. So it was about time I read this book. I gave this book 3.5 stars. Honestly, it didn't really feel like Colleen Hoover's writing, if I'm being honest. I don't know if I mean it in a bad or good way. It just didn't feel like a Colleen Hoover book. There was a lot to unpack in this book. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on because you follow the mom and everything that's going on with the mom and her relationship with her husband and her sister and another love interest, and then you follow the mom's daughter and who the daughter wants to be with. There was just a lot going on in this book. For a lot of this book, I wasn't really interested. I can't remember if I wasn't interested in the mom or the daughter. Honestly, I can't really remember, but I was definitely interested in one of them more. Like, every time we got to the daughter's point of view, or I can't remember, but it's sort of the daughter and the mom's point of view. But every time I got to one of their point of views, I was just like, okay, can we go back to the other one? Because you're following like two completely different stories, and then you're also following like the relationship between the mom and the daughter. So it was just a lot going on in this book. As you can imagine, it was entertaining because there was so much going on. But I remember there being like a plot twist like 50 pages in already, and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But it's basically builds up what the rest of the book is going to be about. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the daughter that I didn't like. Like, she was just very unlikable. It was kind of giving like Rory and Lorelai from Gilmore Girls, how like Rory just like no one likes her towards the end of the seasons and everyone loves Lorelai. That's how I felt about this book. Like, I just really didn't like the daughter, and I just wanted to follow the mom and her story and all that, because the daughter was just getting really annoying. And I wasn't really interested in her, like, romance and her story. Also, another thing that was annoying about this book was there was just something that, like, was brought up in the middle of the book. And then towards the end, like, we didn't hear from it again. And I don't want to, like, spoil it, but basically, like, she finds something. And then she's like, oh, I'm not gonna look at it until I'm ready, whatever. And then towards the end, she doesn't like look at any of it. So we don't know what, I don't know how to say it without spoiling, but like, we don't find out what it was, what she was gonna look at. That was kind of annoying. I also read reviews about that, how they're like, why would they build this up for them not even to show us and tell us after? Which, yeah, it was annoying. But the reason why I gave it 3.5 was it was a mid book, but at the same time it was entertaining because there was so much going on in this book. Yeah, that is the third book I read this month. Then I read The Brightest Light of Sunshine. This book has also been on my TBR for a long time. I've heard a lot of good things about this book, and I actually gave this book 4.5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. The male main character in this book had me literally blushing as soon as the book started. I also just think when male main characters in books, when they say he has tattoos, I'm like sold already. Like, he worked in a tattoo shop. That already had me like done. Like, I'm literally done. He had tattoos like on his neck. It's crazy how like I don't even need to see this character. I just need to read about him and I'm like, yes, like I'm sold. But yeah, he was just hot. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. No, I'm just kidding. But there was just so much more about him than just his looks. Like, I'm talking about like, oh, he has tats, whatever. But I just remember him being reassuring. Like, every time she was like overthinking, he reassured her. He would do like little things for her, like acts of service. He would, if she calls him, like he'd be there right away. They are both also very mature characters. It's set in like college, I'm pretty sure. Like, I think it's a bit of an age gap actually. He's graduated already and she is in college, like on her second to last year to finish, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. Also check the trigger warnings in this because the girl went through something serious. Honestly, it is very realistic. Like, it's such a real thing, and the way he handled everything was just so perfect, just like a man would. And both characters were very mature, and I feel like it's because what she went through, she was very mature, and then just him, what a man. They would have like these silent conversations. All she would have to do was look at him, and he already knew what she wanted. There was a bit of miscommunication towards the end of the book, which it was getting kind of annoying, because it's like, you guys could just talk about it. That was probably the only like annoying thing about this book. It was a really good book. So yeah, like I said, 4.5 stars. Would definitely recommend. Then the next book I read is Addicted to You. This is a very popular book, and I feel like I'm probably one of the last people to read it. I'm actually going to come out with a video soon, I believe, reading this book and another one. But yeah, I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of my thoughts, and then you guys can get my deeper thoughts in the video. But I gave this book 4 stars. After reading this book, I wasn't really obsessed like everyone else was and how I thought it was gonna be, but also I keep telling myself like it was only the first book. I do need to get deeper into the book. Some people's favorite characters aren't even them. It's like other characters in other books. So I definitely do want to continue the series. I'm excited to continue the series. It definitely kind of reminded me of like Gossip Girl and Magnolia Parks in a way. Like they all kind of have the same vibe, and I think it's probably like the found family aspect of it, I think. But I definitely did enjoy this book. It was entertaining. Definitely serious topics talked about in this book too, and it's honestly crazy that these are real life things that people go through. Yeah, there was just a lot about this book that was very realistic. Again, I didn't really connect to the characters, all of that, but I did enjoy the book, and I was entertained while reading it. So yeah, that's why I gave it 4 stars, but I definitely do want to continue this series. I'll fall in love with these characters, hopefully eventually, because everyone loves this series, so I obviously want to love it too. The next book I read was Into the Dark by Magnolia Parks. I think we could probably all guess what I rated this book, and I rated it 5 stars. I don't think anyone understands how much I miss these characters already. It's just crazy how long I went without reading about them, and then just getting 700 pages of them again was amazing. I was debating on giving this book 5 stars, to be honest, and I'm thinking about giving it like 4.75 because I didn't feel the same as the other books, but I definitely did still really enjoy it. In this book, you're getting more of their lives individually and what they're going through instead of like their relationship, because in the other Magnolia Parks books, you're following their relationship and how they're trying to work out being together, being without each other. And in this book, you get more of them being there for each other and how they're going through things separately in like their own lives, how good they are coming together as one. Yeah, I definitely did enjoy this book, but it's different than the other ones, so I think that's why it was a different reading experience. But then again, it was an amazing book to read about, and I can't wait for the Daisy Hates books, because I think reading this book really made me see how much I love the Daisy Hates books. And I don't want to say I love them more than Magnolia Parks, but I think they're my favorites. But also, I still love Magnolia Parks. But I also can't wait for Daisy Hates, because as soon as one of the characters from the Daisy Hates books came in here, in one chapter, that's it. I was gone, sobbing. And I think that just said so much. Yeah, not to shine the light away from this book, but I'm excited for the Daisy Hates books, and I am sad that this was the last time reading about Magnolia BJ, but I'm glad they got their happy ending, the ending they deserved. So really amazing book. If you have not read this series, I don't know what you're doing, because it's amazing. And then the last book I read this month was Swift and Saddled. I read Done and Dusted last month, I'm pretty sure, and I gave that book 3.5 stars, which I also gave Swift and Saddled 3.5 stars. They just felt like kind of not the same to me, but the rating kind of felt like it was gonna be the same. If you don't know, they're country romances. This book is about the girl from the first book's brother, and then the girl is one of the friends of a character in the book. Very confusing, but she basically comes to help with a project on the ranch. But the day before she goes to work, she goes to a club until she runs into this guy, has her business with him, and then the next day she goes to the ranch to work, and she realizes the guy she was with last night is her boss, and the guy that's going to be helping her do construction on his ranch. It's not really, I wouldn't really say it's like boss, because I don't know, I didn't feel like a boss relationship, but it was very cute. There were a few like corny lines, and it was the same for Done and Dusted. It's like a bit corny, but it's like cute. because I just love a good country romance. Like anything country, I'm reading it, I'm loving it. But yeah, overall it was a very cute book. It was kind of insta-lovey, but again, I didn't really get mad at that because it is a short book and it was just a cute, fun read. Had me giggling when it had to be. The family is really cute. It's kind of like the Chestnut Spring series, how they have like their whole family together. It's the same with this series and it is really cute. I'm pretty sure the next book is gonna be really good because it's about like characters that, you know, have tension in the two past books. So I'm excited for the next one. But yeah, just a cute little country read. And yeah, those are all the books I read in March. So I really hope you guys enjoyed hearing about the books I read, what I enjoyed about them, or what I didn't enjoy about them. Hopefully in April, I'll be able to read some good books. I actually got my first 5-star read, which like I said, I'm considering giving this 4.75. But hopefully I find a book this month that I like absolutely fall in love with. But yeah, it was a pretty decent reading month, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you know when I post my next video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!